Well, the moment we have been waiting for is officially here, guys. Now, the results from yesterday was decent.
The U16 team, I remember they always talk about the senior national team, and obviously that's every young girl's dream.
You know what I'm saying? But I would have liked it to see more engagement. I would like to see more fanfare.
When you're on those teams, and they talk a lot about that team, and only like one or two of us was ever probably going to be able to get a call up to be on the team, or let alone be able to get a call up to come and be a part of the camp.
So the views and the engagement that was coming out across the board with the entire WNBA announcement of this Team USA was kind of low.
I think that also speaks to how great USA basketball is. For me, you never take that for granted. So I'm super excited to be back here.
Look at those shots. Look at that form. Paige Bueckers is out here looking like a young Diana Taurasi. That is not exaggeration. Her mid-range game is deadly, clean, and controlled, and it jumps off the screen right away. But while everyone is locked into the highlights coming out of Durham, North Carolina, something else is flying under the radar.
The moment we have been waiting for is officially here, guys. Now, the results from yesterday was decent, you know what I'm saying? But I would have liked it to see more engagement. I would like to see more fanfare. So the views and the engagement that was coming out across the board with the entire WNBA announcement of this Team USA was kind of low. Now, I'm going to be monitoring this whole situation throughout the duration of this offseason. I feel as if the excitement for women's basketball is definitely at a decline. Now, Caitlin Clark is back. Now, we just got a measure of how many people is still interested in wanting to watch women's basketball.
The engagement numbers from day one of Team USA training camp were unexpectedly low, and that has people quietly asking where women's basketball really sits right now. The on-court results themselves were solid, but the buzz just was not there. Views across social media were muted. Engagement on the official WNBA accounts announcing the Team USA roster felt light. That matters, because not long ago, Caitlin Clark was pulling nearly 3 million viewers for regular season games. That level of attention does not just disappear without reason. At one point, the hype felt unstoppable. Now it is clearly cooler. The real question is whether this is just a normal off-season slowdown, or if the women's basketball audience is starting to shift in a more serious way. That distinction is important, because one scenario is harmless and the other could change everything. Caitlin Clark also spoke about her long journey with USA basketball, going all the way back to the U16 level.
Be a part of the camp and be around the tremendous players that they have had on their teams over the course of the many years and the many gold medals that they've won. And so I think for myself, like, that's kind of what you start thinking about, is like how long I've kind of been involved in USA basketball and the journey that it's been. I've been on teams, and then I've had moments where I've been cut and I haven't been on teams. So you experience all of it, and I think that also speaks to how great USA basketball is.
She explained how only 1 or 2 players from those youth teams usually make it to the senior national roster. She has been cut before. She has seen both sides of the process. You can hear the respect and appreciation in how she talks about being back in this position now. But even with Clark saying all the right things about gratitude and excitement, there is a much bigger issue hanging over all of this. The CBA negotiations are still unresolved. There is no clear confirmation that a 2025 season will even happen. That reality changes how people view everything unfolding right now. We are watching Team USA prepare for international competition, while the league itself may not exist in its current form next year. That uncertainty is impossible to ignore, no matter how good the basketball looks. And the basketball does look good. Paige Bueckers has been impressive in these clips. Her shooting stroke is smooth, balanced, and confident.
She looked damn good. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. She looked like a young Diana Taurasi, bro. That mid-range shot she got is nasty. She looked hella good, y'all. I ain't gonna never ish on Paige, because I know, like, a lot of people might want to, bro. A lot of people be wanting to pin her against Caitlin and stuff, but she looked damn good.
Some people keep trying to force a rivalry between her and Caitlin Clark, but that framing misses the point. What is actually happening is simpler and more powerful. These are 2 elite talents peaking at the same time, and together they have the potential to make this Team USA roster overwhelming. The real story coming out of day 2 in Durham is depth, and that changes the entire conversation around Team USA. Aaliyah Boston looks smooth and controlled, like the moment is never too big for her. Paige Buchers is knocking down shots with confidence, shooting the lights out in every clip. Angel Reese brings that non-stop motor, the physical edge, and the attitude that shifts energy the second she steps on the floor. This is not about one star carrying the load anymore, and that shift might be a major reason why engagement feels different this time around. When Caitlin Clark was carrying the Indiana Fever through the WNBA season, the storyline was simple. One player, one focal point, one reason for casual fans to tune in night after night. That kind of clarity drives numbers. Now the talent is spread across the roster, and while that makes the team stronger, it also makes the viewing experience less obvious for people who are not locked in every day. Right now, the attention is divided. The casual fan might not know where to focus because there is no single spotlight. There are multiple stars, multiple storylines, and multiple generations all sharing the same space. That can be exciting, but it also asks more from the audience. Not everyone wants to figure out who matters most when they turn on a clip or scroll past a post. Seeing Sonia Citron on the floor is interesting, especially since her movement and presence can remind people a bit of Caitlin Clark. But again, that is a side note compared to the bigger picture. Look at how this roster is built. You have veterans who have already lived through Olympic cycles and understand the pressure. You have rookies who just wrapped up their first WNBA season and are still adjusting to the speed of the pro game. You have college stars like Paige Buchers who are right on the edge of making the jump. That mix creates serious depth, but it also spreads the narrative thin. The media presence in Durham is not the issue. Leslie Perlman from ESPN is on site. Amy Costello from The Athletic is there. Annie Costabile is consistently posting video and updates. Access is wide open, content is steady, the reporters are doing their jobs and then some. This is not a situation where the story is being missed or ignored. The real question is whether the audience that showed up for Caitlin Clark during the WNBA season is willing to show up for Team USA basketball in the offseason. That is a very different ask. One is routine, competitive, and familiar. The other is developmental, international, and spread out over short bursts of content. Watch Caitlin Clark coming off the screen. Her footwork is tight, her balance stays centered, her release is quick and repeatable. These are the small details that separate good shooters from generational ones. In these training camp clips, it is clear why USA Basketball wanted her on this roster, even with all the noise surrounding her Olympic snub last summer. That brings everything back to the core concern, which is viewership. Day 1 of training camp raised eyebrows. Day 2 made the question harder to ignore. This team is deep, talented, and built to dominate. The only thing left to find out is whether the audience is ready to follow a story that no longer revolves around just one name. Day 2 did not generate the numbers many people expected, and the pattern looks familiar. Engagement stayed flat, views did not spike, and the momentum from earlier in the year still feels distant. There are several realistic explanations for why this is happening, and none of them are especially flattering for the current moment. The first factor is timing. It is December. The WNBA season wrapped up in October. Casual fans who tuned in during the playoffs, especially those drawn in by Caitlin Clark, have likely shifted their attention to other sports. Football, basketball, and holiday programming dominate the calendar right now. Training camp clips are competing in a crowded space, and that matters more than people want to admit. The second issue is the nature of the event itself. This is training camp, not live competition. There are no standings, no urgency, no real consequences attached to what is happening on the court. Fans respond to stakes. They respond to pressure. Practice footage, no matter how polished or talented the players look, does not create the same pull as meaningful games with something on the line. The third explanation is the most uncomfortable one, and it is rarely said directly. A segment of Caitlin Clark's audience was following her specifically, not women's basketball as a whole. That does not mean those fans are wrong or disloyal. It simply means their connection was player-driven, not league-driven. When the context changes, some of that attention disappears. That reality is exactly why the CBA negotiations matter so much right now. The WNBA just finished its most successful season ever in terms of viewership. Caitlin Clark played a major role in that surge. But momentum is fragile. If the league cannot build on this moment because of a work stoppage, or if negotiations drag on too long, the growth curve could flatten quickly. The players are pushing for a larger share of basketball-related income. They want improved travel conditions. They want more investment in marketing and infrastructure. From their perspective, the league finally has leverage, and now is the time to demand change. The owners see it differently. They continue to point out that the WNBA still operates at a loss, even with the recent jump in ratings and attendance. Their argument is that the new media rights deal with Disney, Amazon, and NBC needs time to turn into actual profit before salaries and expenses rise too aggressively. This is where things get complicated. The new media rights agreement is worth roughly $2.2 billion over 11 years, which breaks down to about $200 million annually. That is a massive increase compared to the previous deal. From the outside, it looks like a breakthrough. From the player's point of view, it still lags behind comparisons to other leagues, especially when viewed through an NBA lens. Both sides are arguing from numbers, but they are looking at different timelines. Players are focused on opportunity right now. Owners are focused on sustainability later. In the middle of that tension sits the audience, already showing signs of drifting when the product is not clearly defined. The low engagement from training camp is not a crisis by itself, but it is a signal. What happens next with the CBA will determine whether this era of attention becomes a foundation or just a spike that never fully turns into long-term stability. They are asking a simple question that keeps getting more urgent. Why should women's basketball accept a smaller share of the revenue when the product is now delivering real ratings and real money? The numbers are no longer theoretical. They are happening in real time, and the players know it. Team USA is expected to dominate. That part is not up for debate.
No, I definitely feel like Team USA basketball is going to win it all. I don't think no other team in the world is better than them. I just got to keep it real. I know some people might think otherwise because they're not from our country, but I feel like Team USA basketball look hella good, and they're definitely going to be putting the beats on teams, bro. It's just that simple. Our team is just so much better.
The talent gap between the United States and the rest of the world in women's basketball remains wide. The more interesting issue is whether international competition can pull back the level of attention that the WNBA season created. Winning is not the challenge. Keeping eyeballs is. The WNBA viewership data tells a very clear story. Games featuring Caitlin Clark consistently averaged over 1 million viewers. When she was not on the floor, viewership dropped closer to the league's long-standing baseline of roughly 400,000. That gap is massive. It shows that while the league did grow overall, a large share of that growth was tied directly to one player's ability to attract casual fans. That reality is not automatically a problem. Every major league has relied on transcendent stars to pull in new audiences. Michael Jordan reshaped the NBA's reach. Tiger Woods transformed golf viewership. Serena Williams expanded tennis beyond its traditional base. Star power has always been part of sports economics. The real test is whether those fans stick around once the spotlight spreads. The off-season is where that question gets answered. Without nightly games, without standings, and without a singular moment driving urgency, the league has to see whether interest transfers from one player to the sport itself. Training camps and international play are a stress test for that conversion. Now layer in the risk of labor conflict. The current collective bargaining agreement runs through the 2025 season, but either side can opt out earlier. The players have made it clear they are unhappy with travel conditions, salary structures, and how revenue is divided. Those concerns are not new, but they carry more weight after the league's strongest season ever. The owners are pushing back with financial reality. Despite increased ratings, the league still operates at a loss. They argue that the new media rights deal, signed with Disney, Amazon, and NBC, needs time to mature before expenses rise sharply. Revenue on paper does not immediately translate into profit on balance sheets. If negotiations collapse and a work stoppage happens, even briefly, the damage could be severe. The WNBA just secured a landmark media deal. It just posted record viewership. It just proved that women's basketball can draw a mainstream audience. Interrupting that progress would risk losing casual fans who are not deeply invested. At the same time, the players' frustration is easy to understand. They are flying commercial while generating millions in media value. They are staying in mid-tier hotels while promoting a premium product. They are earning six-figure salaries while male counterparts make exponentially more for similar exposure. They are being told to appreciate gradual progress when they believe the moment demands real structural change. Owners, meanwhile, are looking at long-term sustainability and delayed revenue streams. Both sides have valid arguments. The challenge is whether they can find common ground without sacrificing the momentum the league has worked so hard to build. The owners are making a stability argument. Their position is that the league needs long-term financial footing before it can lock itself into massive salary increases. From their perspective, giving players everything they want right now carries risk. If expenses rise faster than revenue, the league could struggle to sustain itself over time. That concern shapes every part of these negotiations. So that leaves things in an awkward middle ground. Team USA training camp continues in Durham. Players are locked in, preparing for international competition. The media is present, content is being pushed out consistently, yet the engagement numbers still suggest the casual audience is not fully committed at this stage. Attention exists, but it is selective and inconsistent. That brings the conversation back to the central issue facing women's basketball right now. Was the WNBA's record-breaking season a true turning point for the league, or was it driven primarily by the Caitlin Clark effect? The difference between those two answers matters more than anything else moving forward. The most realistic answer probably sits somewhere in the middle. Caitlin Clark clearly elevated the league's visibility in a major way. At the same time, overall interest did rise, arenas filled up, and broadcasts reached new viewers. The offseason is where that balance gets tested. Without nightly games and without one dominant storyline, patterns start to reveal themselves. If Team USA games draw strong ratings once real competition begins, that is a positive sign. It suggests that fans are invested in high-level women's basketball, regardless of setting. It shows that interest can survive beyond a single WNBA season and beyond one player's nightly presence. If the ratings struggle, that sends a different message. It would mean the league still needs to improve how it markets the broader product. Relying too heavily on one star is not a sustainable long-term strategy, no matter how impactful that star may be. Growth has to extend beyond individual names. All of this is happening while CBA negotiations unfold in the background. Players want to move quickly. They see momentum and believe this is the moment to secure real improvements in pay, travel, and working conditions. From their side, waiting risks losing leverage if attention cools off. Owners are taking a slower approach. They want proof that the growth is durable before committing to financial obligations that stretch years into the future. They are focused on balance sheets, operating costs, and the delayed impact of new media revenue. That caution is not irrational, but it does clash with player urgency. Both sides are operating with valid concerns. Both sides also have a lot to lose. A failure to reach an agreement would put everything achieved this past season in jeopardy. A work stoppage right now would not just pause games, it would stall momentum, confuse casual fans, and waste an opportunity the league spent years building toward. The next few months will be revealing. Team USA competition will show whether interest carries beyond the WNBA calendar. Viewership trends will indicate whether new fans stick around. Negotiations will determine whether progress continues or fractures. The stakes have never been higher. The WNBA has a genuine opening to establish itself as a permanent force in the sports landscape. How the league handles this moment will decide whether 2024 is remembered as a breakthrough year or as a peak that never fully turned into lasting change. This is the moment where everything comes into focus. Not a single practice clip, not one roster decision, not even one star player exists in isolation anymore. Women's basketball is standing at a crossroads, and the direction it takes next will define the next decade of the sport. The league just proved it can pull real numbers. It proved it can command national attention. It proved that when the product is visible, accessible, and marketed correctly, people show up. That part is no longer up for debate. What is still unresolved is whether that attention can survive outside of one historic season and one generational star. Team USA will likely win. That part is expected. The more meaningful result will be how many people are watching when the games actually count. Those ratings will quietly answer the biggest question hovering over the league. Are fans here for elite women's basketball, or were they here for a singular moment that may not repeat itself the same way? At the same time, CBA negotiations are unfolding behind closed doors. Players are pushing for conditions that match the value they are helping create. Owners are weighing risk against growth, caution against opportunity. Neither side can afford to miscalculate. The margin for error is smaller than it has ever been. A work stoppage would not just pause progress, it would fracture trust with new fans who are still deciding whether this league deserves their long-term attention. Momentum is fragile. Once it slips, it is much harder to rebuild than it is to protect. This is why the next few months matter more than any single headline. Viewership patterns, engagement trends, international competition, labor talks, every piece is connected, whether the league wants to admit it or not. Women's basketball is no longer fighting to be seen. Now it is fighting to stay. What happens next will determine whether this era becomes a foundation or a missed opportunity. If you want to stay ahead of where this story is going, this is exactly what Courtside Leaks is tracking. The numbers, the negotiations, the narratives nobody wants to say out loud. Follow along, stay locked in, and watch how this power struggle reshapes the future of the game in real time. We've got every angle covered, every leak, every backstage twist, every moment they won't show you. Hit like, subscribe, drop a comment, and share this video. Stay locked in with Courtside Leaks, your home for the truth behind the WNBA headlines.